This place is known as the Pioneer City, and if it wasn't for coal mining and the railroad, it might not even exist today. The place we're talking about is the city of Carbondale, Pennsylvania, which actually has something to do with aliens. Yep, you heard me correct. There's some stuff we're going to check out and talk about, so come along with me. Our tour is beginning right here at this train station platform. There's a sign on it that says Pioneer City, and we're starting here because this town is home to two specific histories. The most important one is mining history. The second is railroad history. And that's why we're starting here. There's a couple things we're going to check out, and then we're going to head into Center City to show you what modern day Carbondale does look like, with some of the businesses, some of the buildings, maybe some of the people walking around, just to give you a good sense as to what this town has evolved into and what it looks like today in 2026. So this was home to the Delaware and Hudson passenger station. Although there's a station here today, it's a shell of its former self. That's what it used to look like. But it says, close your eyes and imagine that you're standing on the platform of a magnificent passenger train station. Constructed in 1895, this bustling hub on the main line of the D&H hosted up to 15 daily passenger trains to Scranton. With their widespread popularity of automobiles in the 20th century, passenger trains were no longer necessary in the Lackawanna Valley, and this D&H passenger station closed January 4th, 1952. The building fell victim to arsonists on July 3rd, 1970, but a portion of the platform along the former rail line remains a poignant reminder of the city's rich railroad history. And behind that, there is remnants of a platform here. I'm guessing this was part of the old train station era when it was in operation, and most likely would have been a dock here for loading, unloading of trains, maybe, and or passengers. And it looks like that's remnants of it today. A lot of concrete footers, some of the rotted ties, and you can see there was cross members to the floor that went to this back portion here. So whether this was strictly for passengers and or freight, most likely a line came right here next to it for loading, unloading. Now this line is still in operation, but it's not as often used as it used to be. If I'm not mistaken, Delaware Lackawanna uses this line, and for special occasions, Steamtown does do excursions or specialty runs up here to this Carbondale station. And on the platform, I just came upon this. I guess it's attempts of staying warm. Empty bottle of Johnny Bootlegger and a quilted blanket. This business here has an interesting mural on it depicting an old western town, specifically a saloon. We've got the stagecoach over there, horses right there, some of the ladies up there trying to get the attention of the cowboys, and looks like someone's being kicked out the hard way. And without a doubt, this town has some of the worst roads in Pennsylvania. Might as well dub it Pothole City instead of Pioneer City. It's pretty bad in certain areas. Now this bridge right here used to be open to the traffic, but I believe it's deemed structurally unsound for vehicle weight. So it's closed off and only open for pedestrian use only. But we're gonna cross that because right over there is another piece of rail history. Directly across the street from the Carbondale Fire Bureau is another piece of history. Old D&H caboose, number 35964, labeled as radio. Says the bridge line to New England and Canada. Little cupola up there where the conductor could sit and watch for any journal boxes overheating and starting to smoke, knowing they had to stop the train and oil them, which are right here. And don't think they want to open, but these are the journal boxes where they have cloth in there soaked with oil to keep everything lubricated, and eventually the oil was to dry up, creates friction, starts smoking, and potentially could cause a fire, which is not good for a wooden rail car. Look at the old firebox here. Don't see too many of these around anymore. If you see a fire, that's how you alert the fire department. We're now here at the intersection of North Main Street and 6th Avenue. Something smells good. I believe it's coming from McDonald's restaurant. Not McDonald's, McDonald's. We're now here at Memorial Park. It reads, this unique triangular shaped park originally served as a militia parade ground. Following the Civil War, the Grand Army of the Republic, William H. Davies Post 187 erected the GAR monument dedicated May 30th, 1885. It's a place of quiet reflection. Memorial Park stands today as a lasting tribute to patriotic Americans from the Carbondale area who bravely served our nation. It's actually a really beautiful piece. Love the American flag on it. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the police station and City Hall. Now there are a few things I could tell you about this town. For starters, this was established 1824, but was incorporated March 15th, 1851. I was wondering why I was smelling pine right in front of me. All pine trees. I believe these are discarded Christmas trees. I think so anyways, but the aroma of pine is in the air. Got a bust of Christopher Columbus right there. Now, a few more things I could tell you is that the land that became Carbondale itself was developed by two famous brothers, William and Maurice Wirtz. They are actually the founders of the Delaware and Hudson Canal Company. As we also learned, this was a major terminal for the Delaware and Hudson Railroad. Cautious, there are aliens in this city. We'll talk more about that later as to why you may see some alien things in the town here. Now, aside from having history with the D&H Railroad, Carbondale has much deeper rooted history with anthracite coal mining. And I'm using that term both literally and figuratively because this town or city was the site of the first deep vein anthracite coal mine in the United States. It is also the site of the Carbondale mine fire, which burned from 1946 to the early 1970s. Now, since the decline of anthracite mining, Carbondale has struggled with the demise of the once prominent coal mining industry that had made this town as popular as it was with immigrants seeking work. Immigrants came all the way from Wales, England, Scotland, Ireland, Italy, and from continental Europe in the 19th and 20th centuries to work in the anthracite and railroading industries. And if you look around, you will find some buildings with some nice architecture. This one in particular, stamped 1903 on the outside, and it's got some character and charm to it. There's a nice colorful mural for F.W. Woolworth & Company, 5 and 10 cent store here in Carbondale. And these windows have a bunch of musicians playing instruments, and of course, a coal miner and a mule. A lot of scarring around here too. You can see faint readout of something right there. Looks like the maybe fair? Can't read it out. If you can make out what that is, comment down below. Yesterday and today, antique store, new and used collectibles. Now this building here, I don't know what it is, but it does have dates of it, of 1864 and 1928 right there. And it looks like it's also a fallout shelter, according to that sign right there, right under the light post. And if you need to find the Rite Aid in town, just look for the giant trout mural. Currently on Salem Ave, and I like this street because there's a lot of small little independent stores, some of which are no longer in business, including this one here, which was originally Carney's Drugs, but today it is a hair salon. It's a nice sign there. Carbondale, established 1851, Pioneer City with the stagecoach. Another thing you'll never find a shortage of here is churches. This is the corner of Salem Ave and appropriately named Church Street. We have 1, 2, 3 churches right in a row. So take your pick. And this is just a handful of them that are here within the city of Carbondale. Now you may be wondering, why did we see an alien before? Well, there's a very good reason for that. I will put a link down below if you want more information, but basically, I believe it's 1 week in a year, Carbondale transforms into Carbelian. They have a festival for aliens. I believe it stems from a alien or UFO encounter in the city a long time ago, but now they have a weekend-long events festival with vendors, I think even like cosplayers or a type of parade, and all the different stores and businesses are all decked out, inviting people to come out and celebrate the alien culture, so to speak, here in Carbondale. So if you want to check that out for yourself, I may actually attend it next year, or I should say this year, the next event, and see what it's like. I've seen it advertised. Wasn't sure if it'd be for me, but I think it'd be a fun, kind of rather obscure, unique, one-of-a-kind event that you can only find right here in Carbondale. Now, as much as there are businesses that are still open, there's a heck of a lot that are closed. And it's always sad to see when businesses do close because, well, that means people are not surviving here. They're not thriving. I also forgot to mention too, as of 2020, which was the last update, there's just over 8,000 residents here in Carbondale. But I will be honest, this town, this city, does not have the greatest reputation. It is an old coal town, so it has historical value and aspects to it, but there's not a lot here to come here for. There is the rail trail not too far from here. There is a shopping center back that direction. And in the outskirts, you will find other things. There's a Sheetz, there's a McDonald's, and typical stuff you would find. But if you do ask people about Carbondale, I would say most people would say, just another town in Pennsylvania. For me, I want to make this video because of the historical aspects involving railroad and mining history. So that's why I chose to come here and make this video, because it kind of fits hand in hand with things that I cover and document on my channel. Here you'll find the YMCA. And over here is the Ben Mar restaurant. And behind that, if you were to go up the road past the gas station and make a left, it's actually a skate park back there, which is kind of cool to see. Now, Carbondale used to actually have its own hospital. It was located up on the hillside in that direction. It closed a number of years ago. It turned into a rehab center, which also closed. And today, Carbondale's left with no hospital within this town. Now, those of you who are skilled with Roman numerals, help me out here. It says erected MCMX1. I know X is 10 and 1 is 1. I don't know what the MCM is, but this is the former post office. And today is I believe a daycare or preschool. But love these light posts out here. But if you have the date for that, MCMX1, please share it down below. If I'm not mistaken, I've seen these in other cities. I think these open up to underground rooms under the business. I think originally they used to use them for like coal storage for the furnace, and later on they turned into underground vault for storage. But if I'm not mistaken, underneath us here are probably rooms for each of these businesses where they had hatches which are basically falling apart and turning into hazards at this point. Now, like most towns during this time of year, which is the winter time, the towns are pretty dirty, and watch out, don't step in that. From all the snow, the cinders, the salt on the road, well, oh, here's another firebox. So it looks like they are all throughout the city here. Many towns, though, this time of year are incredibly dirty, but this town in particular, well, it always seems to be dirty. It just has a dusty, dirty look to it nearly every time you come here. So although it looks like that this time of year, if you come here 6 months from now in the summer, it's not gonna look all that much different. Didn't even see it before. They actually have a pretty nice public library here. And that's right next to the police station, and the police station is using spray foam for insulation. I can see the orange color of it right around there. Must have some leaks or airflow. But I don't know the history of this building. I had some questions and they're going to be answered right here. Carbondale City Hall and Public Library, detached masonry, brick in Pennsylvania bluestone structure in the Romanesque revival style, present day Carbondale City Hall, which opened in 1894 and is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It succeeded two earlier city halls on the same site and houses all Carbondale city offices, police department, and the office of exhibition galleries of the Carbondale Historical Society and Museum. And if you want to read about the library, you're welcome to pause the video and do so. So one thing I'm definitely appreciating about this town is that they're paying homage to the history. All throughout the town, we're finding those historical plaques. And one downfall I'm finding is that the crosswalk buttons don't seem to work around here. A couple of them I pressed, no response at all, no change. Although it's not really busy here, trying to do the right thing, but I think they may need to check a few of them out. They seem to be non-functioning. We talked about just a little while ago, and even the fire department is getting in on the whole alien UFO thing right here. If you'd like me to attend that event this year, make a video of it, show you what it's like, what it has to offer, let me know down below. Now, one thing I'm noticing that I didn't know existed is directly across the street, and that is Hotel Anthracite. I didn't even know that was here. There's a hotel here in town, and, well, named after what the town was founded after, deep vein anthracite coal mining. Looks pretty modern too. Maybe worth checking out sometime in the future if you're ever looking to stay here in the Pioneer City. Whatever you do, don't make eye contact with him, otherwise he's gonna take you up to the mothership. Oh, too late. Got some road work going on down here. Wonder where all the noise was coming from. Well, at least today, it's not brutally cold out. It is above freezing. You can see too, the neighborhood's just kind of climbing elevation on the hillside back there as well. Just a few blocks away from downtown here. And if you look all the way down there, that's the pedestrian bridge that we crossed that's now closed to vehicles. This road is pretty terrible. Holes are everywhere. On top of that, just dirty in general. The sidewalks themselves are even covered. I'm sure they'll clean it up once springtime does come, but right now it is a literal mess. And some of these potholes are pretty deep. They're filled in with water right now, so you can't even see the true bottom. But the good thing is that, well, during the wintertime when it does snow and they plow the roads, the holes get filled in. So for a period of time, the roads are nice and smooth. Now, we did walk around most of the downtown area here, but there is one other location I do want to take you to, which is just a few blocks in the other direction. So we're going to drive over there and we'll check it out. Now, on my way here, I did drive up 7th Avenue. Now, 7th Ave is the street crossing where the construction crew is working. So 7th Ave went up towards this direction here, and to no surprise, there are some potholes in the street. Well, those potholes were dry, and I saw brick. So it appears 7th Ave at one time was originally brick lined. So we're now a few blocks up from the downtown area, and we're here in front of a building I wanted to share with you because, well, it's pretty awesome looking. Can you tell what it used to be by first glance? Well, if not, I'll share it with you. This is the old Roosevelt School. I don't know if this was a middle school or high school or a combination of all of them, but this is an old school, which has seen better days. And although it appears in an abandoned state of condition, it is monitored with cameras all over the place. Every corner of the building has cameras. So as much as I'd love to get inside there, check it out, see what it's like today, well, we can walk around the exterior of it. So here's the old entrance. It says Notice of Zoning Hearing before the Zoning Hearing Board, City of Carbondale, Pennsylvania. Something to do with this building, with zoning and the board here. But you see camera right there. And it's definitely seen better days. It's not in great condition at all, although I don't think it's in any fear of structural integrity of collapsing or anything like that. It is in relatively rough shape in certain areas. That's probably from when the school was in operation. Had decorations in the window there. That could be for President's Day, Memorial Day. Top side here, there is another entrance. Now, I know some old schools had boys and girls entrances. This may or may not have been the case. And it is posted up here as well. You can see some bells up there. Well, one bell there, one at the other entrance. Probably for when school's out or when school starts. This is also a neighborhood crime watch area, and here's a look at one of the residential streets. You can see how close the school is to this home here. Just about enough for a walking room. And it looks like in the summertime, this is covered in ivy. You can see it growing all around the building, including a literal tree growing out right there, out of the side. Oh, the 90s are calling. They want their purse back. A little bit farther away, from the other side of the street, you could get a much better view. And you can see, as I was talking about, it's in rough condition in certain areas, specifically above the entryway right there. It's all crumbled and portions are missing. Definitely not an airtight building. There's broken windows, there's vents. Now, if I could find any information, I will share it on the screen, but I did see this once before, and I remember it was in the area, so I wanted to bring it by here and share it with you guys. It appears to be a 3-story building with a basement. So maybe considered 4. So 3 different entrances, one on each end and one on the front side there. I don't know what they're using it for today. It makes me wonder because, like I said, there's more cameras on this than the White House. They're everywhere. There's even one pointing at me over here on the sidewalks. This whole place is covered in cameras. Now, it has been a while since I've done a walking tour of a town, but I have done a few. I've done Scranton, Pittston, Honesdale, a part of Bellefonte, and maybe 1 or 2 others. And I enjoy doing them when there is something worthwhile checking out. And without a doubt, Carbondale has something to check out. Even though it has not the greatest reputation today, and what it was founded for basically is no longer in existence here. And as we talked about, certain obscurities like being dirty, a lot of potholes, having different events like the Carbelian. But if you read between the lines and look past all that, the town has boatloads of history. So if you are someone who appreciates history when it comes to anthracite coal mining or the D&H Railroad, Carbondale is definitely the place to come and check out and learn more about it because, well, the deep vein anthracite coal mining started here by founders of the D&H Canal Coal Company, which later turned into the D&H Railroad. So those two go hand in hand, and this was a central hub for both of them. So beyond the dirty streets, the potholes, the not as great reputation, declining population, this town still holds significant historical value. That's why I wanted to come here today, talk about it, share it with you, show you what it's like, and if you're ever passing through the area, you know what to look out for. There's a caboose, there's the train station platform, the old school like this. So a couple of picture opportunities, couple historical opportunities. And if you want to stay here overnight, you got the Hotel Anthracite. But hopefully you appreciate what I was able to share with you and the looks I was able to give as well. And just a few odds and end details I was able to throw in throughout the video. But since I was in the area, I figured why not stop, check it out, show you what it's like, talk some history, and just know that D&H Railroad and deep vein anthracite coal mining started right here in Carbondale, Pennsylvania. Thanks so much for coming along, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.